In this video, I'm going to discuss the geometric design project and most specifically the part that you need to create for this. The 3 different drafts and all the details that need to be included in that. There is some work up front that we will be doing together in class, so if you miss that, this project is posted online, so I would begin reading through these first couple of pages. There is a slideshow here that I would recommend looking through, just to kind of get you familiar with what the idea of geometric design is. We're going to be focusing on those geometric constructions that we did, which are all of these things here. And we're going to continue with naming and labeling things appropriately as we do this as well. So again, just some information to get us started up here. After we look at some examples of geometric design, you're going to, after we look together, you're going to find some things on your own. So that's kind of this short independent research portion. And then we're going to move into our creation. So this is a 3-draft process. This is really important. 3 separate drafts. You cannot just begin with your final draft. It doesn't work that way. You will begin by creating a rough draft of your design. That's the first draft. And this is just what you intend to do moving forward. This is just kind of get your ideas on paper. But we want to know in this draft where you're going to show these different constructions. You do not need to use a ruler or a compass. This is just a sketch to get your ideas on paper. However, you should include where you will complete the geometric constructions and make note of that in the draft. So before you move on to the next draft, I want to look at this. I want you to show me your rough draft and I will approve it. So I'll do that by initialing in the corner. So please, before you ask me to check it, make sure that you've gone over all of the requirements and you have everything included. You might want to just take a peek at the example as well. Your design should include only straight lines and circles. Again, on the rough draft, it's just a sketch. You don't have to use a ruler and compass, but this should still be part of your design. You are not required to use circles, but you may. I encourage you to, but you don't have to. And if you do have circles, after the first draft, they should all be made using a compass. Your design should fill a piece of paper no smaller than 6 inches square, so meaning 6 by 6, and no larger than a normal sheet of paper. So the requirements are down here, and you will need to list specifically. So for example, when you copy a segment, you'll need to have it labeled so you can say segment, for example, AB is a copy of segment CD. So when you're filling out this table, that's what it should look like using appropriate notation. You need to say where you're going to find the midpoint, where you're going to construct a bisector, and hit all of these marks. So let's look real quickly at what a rough draft could look like. So this is an example of a rough draft. I've just made a design using some geometric shapes, all straight lines and circles. And over here, I've kind of shown where I'm going to do each of my required constructions. So this says AB is a copy of CD. So I'm looking at segment AB is a copy of CD. I don't have to do it here. I just have to say that I'm going to do it so that we have a plan. And when we go to our next draft, that's where we'll actually do it with a compass and a ruler. M is going to be the midpoint of CD. Okay, so I have that labeled and stated over here. Angle 2 is a copy of angle 1. So here's my angles 1 and 2. And then I'm going to bisect angle EFG. So notice I didn't do it. I just said what I'm going to do and where I'm going to do it. So when you come to get this approved, I know there's a plan to have everything covered. Going back to our instructions. Okay. The accurate drawing, this is our second draft. Okay, this is what is most important. This is half of the points of this project. This is 12 points, so it's worth a little bit more than 2 practices. That's going to end up being a pretty big portion of your grade. This is where you actually draw things precisely. We use our compass, we use our ruler, we follow those constructions that we've learned about. And if you're struggling to remember those, there will be videos posted in Google Classroom, and you should have the piece of paper that gives you detailed instructions of how to do each of the geometric constructions. Make sure that you're labeling points and angles on this version so that you can properly identify all of those things. So once you do the accurate drawing, that's when you should be filling out this table. So let's take a look at what that second draft might look like. So if this is my rough, moving into my second draft, this is a brand new piece of paper, starting from scratch. Notice that the design is very similar, but now everything is straight. All of my circles have been made with a compass. They are perfectly round. All of my lines are nice and straight. I've got all my things labeled. So for example, when I said AB is a copy of CD, okay, I can see where I used my compass to make that copy. I have the corners labeled with these letters, and that's going to stay on this drawing. Okay, once you make those marks, do not erase those. This dotted line represents a fold because that's how we're finding midpoint right now. And then the red marks down here would indicate my compass lines for my angle bisection. And then again, the red down here would represent my compass lines when I copied an angle. So if you do this properly and you use the compass the way you're supposed to, I should be able to see those marks and tell that you did which construction you did, whether that was copying an angle or copying a segment or bisecting an angle, whatever that is. Okay, so this is how that should look. This is where you show me what you can do. The final draft is only your design. So this is, I don't want to see compass marks on here. I mean, if you're making a circle, you can use the compass, but you don't need to actually go through the process of copying an angle like we did up here. You don't have to go through the process of bisecting an angle. Don't do all that work again. Just make your design, make it colorful, make it look good. If you need to trace it, you can. Otherwise, you can just recreate it if that's going to be quicker. Okay, so this is just to look good. Let's just go back to our requirements really quick. So again, you're filling in this table after you finish that accurate drawing. What I would really recommend, I'm not going to force you guys to do this, but after you finish that second draft, you may want to just check in with a neighbor and just make sure that you've got everything and everything looks good. You were able to fill out your table accurately before you move on to the final. Final draft is 3 points. This should not show your constructions, only the design itself. This should be on, again, a brand new piece of paper. You can trace if you'd like, but you don't have to. If you just want to recreate, that's fine as well. And you do need to have some color. Okay, so the example that I showed you is kind of a minimum amount of color. If we're looking at my final draft, so we've got some color to just kind of accent. You can fill the entire paper with color, but you don't have to. So finally, to kind of finish this off here, let me just show you some examples of some things that students have done in the past. Notice all straight lines and circles made with a ruler, nice color added in here. Okay, they did all those required constructions, but these are just the final drafts, so we're not seeing that. But I hope you're noticing that we've got some pretty cool stuff. This was one of my boards one year there where we displayed a lot of the final drafts, and I'm hoping that we can do something like that again this year. So I'm hoping this video should answer most or all of your questions. There's also, remember, the videos that show you how to do each of the constructions. And then, of course, we have the longer document, which is the requirements for the project. But as always, if any of this is unclear, please ask me, and I'd be happy to help you.